When it comes to these interactive story games, I usually really enjoy them. I find them to be a more relaxing gameplay experience where I can mostly sit back and enjoy the story while also providing some of the input through the action sequences or the choices of the narrative itself. I had a few issues with the first season of Life is Strange, but overall I enjoyed it. I played the first episode of the new season and enjoyed the brother relationship. The relationship between Sean and his younger brother Daniel was what made the episode work. The game surprised me in how it implemented a way of making the player feel like Sean in making decisions, since your choices as Sean would affect how Daniel would react later on. Throughout the episode, I chose to steal at every opportunity that I had. Daniel observed me each time I did this, and at the end of the episode, Daniel then stole some items from an ally, and then Sean had to try and explain the situation. I did like how the game planted this idea for the rest of the season, that Daniel is continually watching you and learning from your choices that you make as Sean. This was definitely a really interesting idea and one that I wanted to see more of in future episodes. Other elements that worked as well was being able to log different items in your backpack and having these mementos from different points in the story. The story mostly kept the supernatural elements of its narrative at a minimum, and this did help to create some good mystery. I enjoyed most of the episode, but there were aspects of the story that did hurt the narrative. I found the story was at its best when it focused on the brothers' relationship and how Sean's actions can affect Daniel. But as the episode continued, it was apparent that the game had many forced political elements that were trying to make a statement about the current climate. Like I said in my initial review of the first episode, I'm fine if a story wants to tackle sensitive topics, but I take issue when a piece of entertainment presents a topic and then heavily tries to push you in one direction. It makes the story feel like it's telling me what is right, when I think the better execution would be to pose these questions and present both sides and then leave it up to the player to then discuss the questions that the story is asking. Upon replaying the first episode, I saw many more of these forced elements, and I hope that it didn't plague the second episode. Ladies and gentlemen, here is my review for Life is Strange 2, Episode 2. The adventure picks up sometime after the first episode. Sean and Daniel are in the thick of winter, and now they have a small cute dog companion that joins them. We first see our group as Daniel is now getting more comfortable with his powers.
That one's too easy. Look.
Don't brag. It was too heavy for you a few days ago.
Let's try to lift something else. Not too heavy, though. I'm a little tired.
The beginning of the episode takes its time to set up where the characters currently are. You will find them living in an abandoned house. Here you can move around the environment like in all other games like this and interact with different objects. As you select objects to interact with, Sean will provide his opinion on them. This gives you some insight into what he is personally thinking about.
We scored with these clothes. +5 street cred. He's definitely a fast learner. Maybe too fast. Ready for today's training, puppy? Sit. Shroom, sit. Seriously, girl. Sit.
Mushroom. Sick girl.
Are you kidding me?
You just don't know how to talk to her.
I'll remember this, traitor.
Along with this, the early minutes of the game reminds you how Sean's actions can change how Daniel will see the world. I do like the aspect of this game as it makes you feel like the bigger brother that you're playing as. It's kind of like Clementine from the first Walking Dead game, since she would notice everything you would do. But here, Daniel is viewing your actions and being actively influenced by them. Since Daniel is more comfortable with his powers now, I do like how he is using them how a kid would, playing jokes on his older brother and at many points just for entertainment. I do feel like the first part of the episode did try and emotionally manipulate me with the introduction of the cute dog. I found it extremely predictable and saw what they were going for from the first time I saw the dog. I get what they were going for here, but I think that it would have been improved maybe if they had this whole sort of plot line extended out over the course of one episode or a few. That way the emotion would have felt more earned. The rest of the episode takes place with our duo meeting their grandparents.
Are you boys done playing?
We had a express delivery with the passengers, but the engine broke down.
Yep, has to go straight to the workshop.
Good. No trains in the kitchen, remember?
Gotcha, Chief.
Choo-choo!
Ah, sugar. He can fix his trains, but not.
This episode for the most part is just okay. Not many interesting or intense events happen. It does lack tension for the most part and feels like this episode just went on just a bit too long just to get us pointed in a direction for a more interesting episode 3. Now I do not see this as much of an issue if the season is played in sequence, but if you're playing this as just as the episodes are coming out, this is definitely going to stand out as a lacking episode. There are a few moments of tension, which is a welcome change, but they're too few and they don't last too long. I did enjoy spending time with the grandparents as our duo was able to find some allies on their journey. And another nice thing about this episode was the return of Captain Spirit.
Did you see that?
Yeah, we did. It looks like you're okay, though.
You were almost
Captain Spirit was sort of a prequel free episode that you could play before this new season started. I really enjoyed the free episode. They did a good job at capturing the imagination of a kid as he's playing with his toys on a Saturday morning. Chris's episode had some darkness to it as well. I honestly would have liked the whole season just to focus on this character, especially after playing the free episode. While I did like Chris's return since he brings a childlike sense of wonder and imagination to the story, he isn't used much here. The way the episode ends, it makes me wonder if we're going to ever see him again or this was the last time. If so, this is a rather disappointing end to Chris's story, especially how they set him up with the free episode. Since these were present within the first episode, I want to bring up the politics and social commentary that were used in the first episode. Thankfully, they aren't really present here within this episode, and for the most part, the story concentrates on Sean and Daniel trying to survive and then managing Daniel's powers. I hope this continues throughout the rest of the episodes, as I didn't think the politics worked in the first episode and felt very forced. Overall, this was a decent episode. There wasn't anything too exciting, nor did it really move the plot along until the very end. It felt like an okay pit stop along this road trip adventure. The brother dynamic is what kept this game interesting, and I hope the next episode is better than this one. Thank you very much for watching.
Ah, sugar. Ah, sugar. Ah, sugar. Ah, sugar. Ah, sugar.